What's up, you damn gorgeous and beautiful gamers, and welcome back to Role Playing Games. This is Mariel Connor in the internet, where we like to discuss about RPGs. Mainly about RPGs, occasionally about the occasional video game. If you like the content, if you enjoy these Mariel conversations with RPJames, I would very much like to invite you to hit that like button because it really helps me like you have no idea, and also subscribe to the channel because it's free, dude. You know, my mama says that I'm a nice dude, so you might actually enjoy staying and hanging around with me. Also, I have a bunch of new guides coming for Elden Ring, so you might be interested in that. That being said, speaking about Elden Rings, do remember that these guides that I am making, that I am lately posting, they are focused for new players. There are so many comments out there in my videos that tell me, hey dude, Elden Ring is going to be my first Souls-like, and I cannot tell you how honored I feel that you decided to trust me in this beautiful journey that you're starting into the Souls games. Because let me tell you, they are beautiful games, and I'm so thrilled to have so much eyes gazing upon this beautiful gem that we have in front of us. So many new people, so many newcomers trying to get into Elden Ring. I am so happy about that. But also, that said, lately we got the final release. Well, not the final release. We have the final build for Elden Ring that press was able to play around with. They were able to play and learn about the final mechanics that you will find in Elden Ring. And one of those mechanics, well, not really a mechanic, but they were able to see the first starting classes. And that is the topic of today's video. Because there's a lot of confusion out there about how important are actually starting classes. A lot of people out there are covering them and breaking them down to you and tell you what they do, when they do, and all the stats that they have and what stats do they not have, and leading you to believe that actually those stats that the character classes have are important to a new playthrough, which, let me tell you, it is not. But also, it is. Now let me explain. That is one of the most beautiful things that Elden Ring gives to us, that From Software give to us. The versatility, the freedom, the diversity of the builds that you can make in this kind of games. It's one of the most beautiful things that you will find out there. So no, I will not be breaking down the specific individual classes. I will not be giving you an overview about what stats do they have and what weapons do they have. I will also be having them on the video background in case you're interested in knowing what kind of stats does a prophet has, or maybe an astrologist, or maybe a hero. I don't know, a vagabond. You might be interested in the stats, so I'll be having those stats for the final classes on Elden Ring on the background of the video. But that said, I am going to be focusing myself on teaching you why is it really not important what class you start with, but also why it actually is important what class you start with. Like I said, let's go back to the diversity thing. From Software games have always been built with this kind of mindset. Miyazaki wants you to have freedom. He wants you to be able to do what you want to do in this game. They have also said, From Software team has always said that the game can be as hard on you as you propose it to yourself, as you make it to yourself. You have a lot of tools out there, and it is up to you if you use them and if you're not. When it comes to character classes, starting classes, you could very well, let's make this example. Let's say that at first you decided that, hey dude, I want to make a Fate build. My character is going to be based on Fate. So that said, you choose the Prophet as the starting class. But on the middle of the game, as you're exploring the depthness and the caverns and all of the dangerous hazardness that you can find in the world of Elden Ring, you find a, let's say for example, a spell, a sorcery spell, and you're able to use it. And you say, hey dude, this is really cool. I might actually want to play a sorcerer instead. And if you'll already in the middle of the game, you could very well totally do so. You would have to respect your character, of course, but let me tell you, the starting class that you chose is not going to have that huge of an impact on how your endgame character ends up performing. Now let me explain, let me dive a little bit more on that, so that you're not so afraid, because remember, if you're a new player, remember that these guys are focus for new players. If you're a new player and Elden Ring is your very first Souls game, you might come biased, a little bit biased from other RPGs, where your starting class determines how are you going to play ultimately the game throughout the course of the game. Like I said, in Elden Ring it really doesn't matter what class you choose at the beginning of the game. You can be whatever the hell you want to be at the middle of the game and at the end of the game, so it really is not important. Bear this in mind. Do not be afraid from the classes that you have in front of you, because trust me, it really is not important. And let me tell you why. If it's not important, then why do we have them? Because like I said, it is not important, but it is important. So that said, with everything that I just told you out of the way, let me tell you what should you be focusing yourself on to be able to have a proper good start of the game and a properly built character at the end of the game, because it's also very important to have a properly built character at the end of the game. The character classes, let's imagine a prophet, for example. A prophet has emphasis on 16 on fate. It has 16 on fate, which you might think that's probably, if I want to make a fate character, that's my go-to. That's what I want to use. But the problem is that maybe later in the game, your secondary weapon is going to have a requirement for strength and dexterity. So you're going to ultimately have to invest in there as well. So it really didn't matter if you chose a prophet, because still you needed those points into strength. And those points, you could very well have gotten them from a vagabond, let's say, or a hero, which is a character that starts with a whole lot of strength. In most of the cases, Fate characters like to use boings and heavy weapons based on strength. So if you get the point, if you get what I'm trying to tell you, is that it really didn't matter at the end of the day that I chose the prophet, because at the end of the day I still ended up allocating points into strength, and maybe the start of the game could have been better for me if I started with a melee character, because that's what the character class is going to do. It's going to determine how are you going to start your game. It's not going to be determining how is it going to change as you progress on the darkness, on the caves, on the dungeons, on the exploration of the world. It really is not going to impact it that much. It's only going to give you some tools, give you a fresh start of the game. That being said, let me tell you that us, Souls veterans, even before we knew about the information for the character classes, let me tell you that we already knew what class were we going to play even before the classes were revealed. Because we already have a specific mindset. Let me tell you about mine. I am that kind of guy. I like sword and board. I like my sword and shield. So whenever I start a new playthrough on any Elden, on any Souls game that I play, I always start as a knight, because I like being a knight, dude. I like to have my sword and my shield. Maybe, as the game progresses, something itches inside of me and say, hey dude, I want to branch into Fate and end up being making a Fate build. Or maybe, even when I chose the knight as a beginner class, at the middle of the game, I end up like crossing my path with a katana and say, hey dude, wouldn't it be cool to use this katana for a long period of time, and end up making a dex character build focused on bleeding, or focused on being a dex character build. And remember that was not my initial thought. that was not what I initially wanted to make. Elden Ring, Souls games give you this freedom. A freedom that many other RPGs out there do not give you, because they determine what are you going to be from the very beginning of the game. It's not going to be the case in here. So if it's not going to be the case in here, then what should I be focusing myself on? When you create your character, take a look at them. On the background, like I said previously, I showcased to you what kind of weapons each character has. What kind of weapons each character starts with. What kind of gear do they have? What kind of gear do they start with? Me personally, I knew, like I said, before the classes were revealed, that I was going to be a knight. So when they were revealed, I knew that I was going to be a vagabond, because the vagabond has this blue knight armor gear. He also starts with a sword and a shield and a halberd. So you get my point. It doesn't matter if I end up realizing that at the middle of the game I want to make a mage or a fade build or anything like that. I'm still going to start with that class because I like halberds. Halberds are one of my favorite weapons in this game. Swords are my favorite weapons, some of my favorite weapons in this game. And it really, even if I choose that knight, it's not going to change a damn thing during my playthrough. I can still branch into whatever the hell I want to branch. You are going to indeed have some little bonuses, that is an undeniable truth, but it's not going to be that huge. What you want to take a look is when you start making that character, when Elden Ring comes out, when Elden Ring gets to be in our hands, which is very, very close to us, it's almost here. Take a look at the weapons. Do you find those weapons fancy? Take a look at the gear. Maybe you want to make a Fade character, but you fucking hate those robes that they have, because I do, dude. I don't like hanging around in those robes. There's people that do, and there's that. There's also fashion souls. If you like the looks of a character, then go for it. If you like how a character looks, dude, we have a damn samurai. If you like the samurai, then go for it. Pick the samurai, even if you want to make a mage, because later on you're going to be branching yourself into sorceries. And also that dexterity that the samurai starts with is going to give you casting speed. All of the classes need HP, all of the classes need endurance, all of the classes need all of these side stats. And if you get my point, it really doesn't matter what kind of character do you start with. Now, if we flip the coin, if we change the subject, is it really that important to actually get those weapons at the beginning of a game? It really is not. Because like I said, diversity, versatility, the freedom that Elden Ring is going to give you, like Miyazaki has always said, like the FromSoft team have always said. They want to give you freedom. And let me tell you, I can be pretty sure about this because it's an undeniable truth in all of the other games. These games work differently. The weapons that you start with, you can carry them throughout the course of the game, and they are not going to be there's not such thing as a better weapon in these games. There's only weapons, and the weapon that you like, you can improve it and use it throughout the whole course of the game. New Game Plus 2, on and on and on. And this is a mechanic that it's still in here in Elden Ring. We have it confirmed thanks to the closed network beta test. The upgrading system is still the same. So that said, if you want to start the very beginning of the game with sorceries, then choose the astrologist. And maybe you want to branch yourself as a sorcerer with a katana on the offhand. Then later on the game, not really too much deep inside of the game, you will find that katana that you're looking for. And it's not going to take you that much of a time. So, like I said, if you get all of this information that I am giving you, it really does not matter what kind of class do you start with. It really does not matter what kind of stuff do you want to branch yourself with. And also do bear in mind that while you're exploring this beautiful, alluring world that we have in front of us, you might find yourself enjoying something that you find. Like for example, in the network beta test, there was many people that they do not actually enjoy katanas, but they ended up finding that storm katana, and then they said, Dude, it's amazing. This is a beautiful weapon. I like to use it and stay with it. So that is the beauty of Elden Ring. Like I said, pardon me if I am being too redundant in here, but I want to be really clear about this one because like I said, there's so many people out there breaking down the classes to you and tell you, hey, it has these stats. This is a class for this kind of builds. Yes, it is effective. It is actually effective. That's useful, but you don't need to do it that way. If you see something in that class, take it. If you see like a katana, like I said, take it. I am seeing a longsword and a halberd and a shield on the vagabond, so I'm sold with that. As soon as I see that, I'm like, dude, I do not need anything else. And I'm actually thinking about making a Fade build for my first playthrough. And it really is not going to matter. I am still going to go for the vagabond, even if it doesn't have that much Fade, because it has the weapons that I like to start with. The armor that I like to start with, that's when it comes to everything. That's the point that I am trying to get to. That class starts with everything that I like, me, personally, as a person, as a gamer. That class has everything that I like as a playstyle during my first playthrough. During my first playthrough. So, that being said, then now you know that it really doesn't matter what kind of class stat has those stats or these other stats. Take a look at them, see what you fancy for yourself, and pick it, choose it, and then use it, and enjoy it. Because, like I said, this game is about freedom. It's going to be as hard as you make it on yourself because of the freedom. It's going to offer you so many tools that you will be able to use if you use them properly, if you know how to use them. So enjoy them. By all means, use them. Be yourself. Be yourself while playing this game. And that being said, I hope that this guide was useful to you. I hope that you find the information useful, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel before you close the door, because I am going to be covering Elden Ring deeply in the next few days and when Elden Ring comes out. So if you're a new player and you're looking for some guidance, some assistance, then this is your place. We also discuss about other RPGs out there, and remember that if no one has told you today that you are indeed a gorgeous, beautiful person, you are. Have a beautiful day, and remember that you should always stay safe out there. These are dangerous times that we live in right now. Have a beautiful day, and thank you so very much for watching. Goodbye.